أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه الأخيار أما بعد. Inshallah, today we look at the Muqaddima by the author himself. The previous Muqaddima was by Sayyid Qutb. Of course, when you write a book, you let some notable personalities do Muqaddima for you. Sometimes Muqaddimat can get up to 3, 4, 5. And you see notable people writing Muqaddima for the same book just to help raise the image of the book and to also make the prospective reader know that the book is valuable. Just as Sayyid Qutb did. If anybody reads that, of course the person would want to see what the book contains, that it got all that accolades from Sayyid Qutb. Jamil. Now we get into the Muqaddima of the author himself. It is Aliyun al-Hasani, An-Nadwi, where he says, so al-Muqaddima, introduction, says Ibn Akhil Aziz, and he calls on to his nephew. Jamil, it is Yabna Akhil Aziz, and the adatu nida is mahzuf. Oh, my nephew, or my dear nephew. Jamil, or my dear nephew. Says Araka harisan ala al-qisas wal-hikayat. I see you so much interested in stories and tales. I see you so much interested in stories and tales. وَكَذَلِكَ كُلُّ طِفْلٍ فِي سِنِّكَ. Likewise, every child in your age. And this is said to be a nephew, a true nephew, not like, when you are starting a story, you can just say, oh, my nephew, but then you mean just any nephew. Like you can say, Ya waladi, then you mean just any walad. Jamil. But in this case, Ibn Akhil Aziz is said to be a real Ibn Akhil Aziz, a real nephew. Jamil. Says, وَكَذَلِكَ كُلُّ طِفْلٍ فِي سِنِّكَ. Likewise, every child in your age. Sinnik, sinnun, mana age, fi sinnika, in your age. Every child that shares your age. Says, تَسْمَعُ هَذِهِ الْقِصَصَ بِكُلِّ رَغْبَةٍ. Says, you listen to these stories with so much interest, or with all interest. وَتَقْرَأُهَا بِكُلِّ رَغْبَةٍ. And you read it with all your interest. Man, you are so invested in it. وَلَكِنِّي أَتَأَسَّفُ لِأَنِّي لَا أَرَى فِي يَدِكَ إِلَّا حِكَايَاتِ السَّنَّانِيرِ. إِلَّا حِكَايَاتِ السَّنَّانِيرِ. He says that أَتَأَسَّفُ, but then I feel sorry because I don't see in your hand لا أرى في يدك إلا حكايات, except the tales of as-sannanir. And then as-sannanir is the plural of sinnaura. Sinnaura, which is the cat, or said to be the cat species. Yani, cat, the tiger, and all those kind of species, the cat species, they fall in this as-sannanir. And the singular is as-sinnaura. Wal-kilab, and dogs. Wal-usud, and lions. Wal-dhi'ab, and wolves. Wal-kiradata, and monkeys. Wal-dibab, and bears. Bears, yani the big animal, that scary big animal. وَعَلَيْنَا الْعُهْدَةُ فِي ذَلِكَ. And the responsibility of that falls upon us. The fact that you cannot find any proper story to read, but stories of animals, from cats, lions, tigers, and all that, except that those ones, says علينا العهدة في ذلك. The accountability of that falls upon us, or the responsibility falls upon us. Says فذلك هو الذي تجده مطبوعا. Because that is what you find printed. If the child wants to read something, these are the materials that they find printed, and he really wants to read stories. But these are the printed stories available. So he says, وَقَدْ بَدَأْتَ تَتَعَلَّمُ اللُّغَةَ الْعَرَبِيَّةَ. And you've started learning the Arabic language. لِأَنَّهَا لُغَةُ الْقُرْآنِ وَالرَّسُولِ وَلُغَةُ الدِّينِ. Says because it is the language of the Quran and the language of the messenger and also the language of the religion. وَلَكَ رَغْبَةٌ غَرِيبَةٌ فِي دَرْسِهَا. And you have some strange interest in studying it. Yani, the child is so interested in studying Arabic language, the child wants to read more stories to have some talaqa, to have some eloquence, proficiency in speaking the language. But the only materials the child can find are stories about these animals and stuff like that. So he says, وَلَكِنِّي أَخْجَلُ أَنَّكَ لَا تَجِدُ مَا يُوَافِقُ سِنِّكَ. لَا تَجِدُ مَا يُوافِقُ سِنَّكَ. You don't, said, but I feel ashamed. أَخْجَلُ. I feel ashamed that you do not find that which matches your age. من القصص, of stories العربية, Arabic stories. من القصص العربية, يعني Arabic stories. There are Arabic stories, of course, but then he was feeling ashamed that he is there. A lot of Arabic scholars are there. And when the child wants to read some stories, some Arabic stories, the child doesn't find anything that matches the child's age or anybody in the child's age. It says, إِلَّا قِصَصَ الْحَيَوَانَاتِ. The only thing that matches your age that you find is the stories of the animals. يعني لا تجد ما يوافق سنك إلا في اللغة العربية إلا قصص الحيوانات, except the stories of animals. والأساطير. Asatir is what we call the legends. Yani al-ustura, the singular of which is ustura. And ustura, yani just any tales at all. They just create any personality and create a tale around that particular personality. So you see some myth, they say there is somebody, Superman, then they will create some stories about it. It's not really a reality. So you see the Quran, the Kuffar describing the Quran as Asatirul Awwaleen. That it is the tales of the older generation. Sorry. Wal khurafat, and also fairy tales. I mean, khurafat, nonsense. There is nothing in it. Asatir, fairy tales, khurafat, nonsense. You don't find things that when you say that it doesn't make any sense. That is khurafat. says فرأيت أن أكتب لك ولأمثالك أبناء المسلمين, and I saw that, or I realized that I should write for you and for your likes among the children of the Muslims قصص الأنبياء, stories of the prophets, والمرسلين, and the messengers, عليهم صلاة الله وسلامه, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon them, بأسلوب سهل, with an easy style, يوافق سنك, that matches your age, وذوقك, and your tastes. ففعلت, and so I did. يعني رأيت أن أكتب ففعلت, and I did. I actually wrote it. وهذا هو الكتاب الأول من قصص النبيين للأطفال, أو قصص النبيين. As I said, that the book itself is titled قصص بفتح القاف. وهذا هو الكتاب الأول, and this is the first book من قصص النبيين للأطفال, of the stories of the prophets for kids. أهديه إليك, I'm gifting it to you, or I'm dedicating it to you. So ihda comes as dedication, ihda comes also as gifting. جميل. وقد حكيت فيه أسلوب الأطفال وطبيعتهم. I have imitated حكى, it ends with ألف المكسورة, حكى, حكيت. I imitated in it the style of kids and their nature, yani the innate being of the kids. I've imitated that in the stories. فلجأت إلى تكرار الكلمات, and so I resorted to repetition of words. In our case, it's very good. A lion has a tail, it has a big head, and so a lion, that kind of repetition, he does it a lot in the book. فلجأت إلى تكرار الكلمات, I resorted to repetition of words, والجمل, and sentences, وسهولة الألفاظ, and also easy words. He used easy words in the text. وبسط القصة, and also spreading the qissa story, laying it wide so that it can be clear and easy for us. وأرجو أن يكون هذا الكتاب الصغير أول كتاب يقرأه الأطفال في اللغة العربية. Says, I hope that this book would be, this small book will be the first book that the child reads in Arabic language. ويدرسونه في مدارسهم, and they study it, يعني the kids study it in their schools, their madaris. Then he says, سأتحفك إن شاء الله بقصص للأنبياء. أتحف is مضارع coming from أتحف. أتحف بمعنى to give. To give to somebody or to gift somebody. So سأتحفك إن شاء الله بقصص للأنبياء. I would gift to you, God willing, stories of the prophet. So stories for the prophet. Or I will give to you, inshallah, stories from the prophet, للأنبياء of the prophet. ممتعة, very interesting. ممتعة يعني interesting. شائقة, that is catchy. It is catchy, يعني it is attractive. واضحة سهلة, clear and easy. خفيفة جميلة, light and beautiful. ثم لا يكون فيها شيء من الكذب, and then there wouldn't be anything of lies in it. And he wouldn't be lying in the book. He says, أقر الله بك يا محمد, يعني the Ibn al-Akh, أقر الله بك يا محمد أين أبويك, and may Allah use you to please the eyes of your mother, your parents, father and mother. May Allah make you the coolness of their eyes, the qurratul ayn for them. Wa ammika, and your paternal uncle. He started with Ibn Akhi. So of course it means that is his brother's son. So he's praying for the child to be the coolness of his parents' eyes and also his uncle's eyes. Wa ayn al-Islam, and also the eyes of Islam, yani the child should be a pleasure for Islam. وَعَادَ بِكَ بَرَكَاتِ آبَائِكَ, and may Allah use you to bring back the barakat of or the blessings of your forefathers. عَلَى هَذَا الْبَيْتِ, upon this house, وَعَلَى الْمُسْلِمِينَ, and upon the Muslims in general. Aliyun al-Hasani. This is written by the author himself, Abu al-Hasan, right? Aliyun al-Hasani, An-Nadwi. So from this, inshallah, we'll be going to the first story, which is Man Kasar al-Asnam. Man Kasar al-Asnam, who broke the idols, inshallah. Till we meet there, have a very good time. Don't forget to be reading over and also to be practicing as usual, as we've been doing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.